Hey everyone, Freedom Friday here, Freedom Chef Dean McRae. Look, I haven't done one of these for a little while. In fact, I haven't done much streaming and all that. Look, there's enough superstars doing that. I'll start with a quick shout out for Rushkin, Topher Field, even Avi, Rebel Media. Those guys down in Melbourne have been doing an absolute bang up job this last, certainly over the last week. It's been epic trying to keep up with it all and trying to manage it all. Australia's in a strange state. It's really, for me, it's embarrassing to see what we're becoming. We're a nation led by fear, which certainly isn't the narrative that I'd like to push or a narrative that I'd be willing to support. I'm disappointed in our police officers, certainly in Victoria, but around the rest of the country that are enforcing these draconian lockdowns and these draconian laws. I'm proud of the tradies who stood up. It's just for me at the moment, it's a really heartfelt time. I'm watching so many different things happening. I know so many people who are about to lose their jobs because they refuse to accept a vaccine mandate. I'll be as blunt as I can be. I'm against mandating fucking just about everything. Okay. I don't believe that politicians and bureaucrats who, at the best of times, can't be trusted, can be trusted in the worst of times. And currently with this pandemic situation, the way they're selling it is we're in the worst of times. So to now trust them with more power over you, more power over your lives, more power over your choices, that really irks me. I don't believe in mandatory vaccinations. If you want to get it, hey, be my guest. I don't believe in mandatory mask wearing. You want to wear one? Go for it. Do your own homework. Make your own decisions. I'm never going to give medical advice because I'm not a doctor. I'm about as much of a doctor as Dr. Dre is. But what I really sort of think is important at the moment, and I'm debating people I really love, people I care about, people who I have great relationships with up until now. And we're heading towards a totalitarian state. Watch George Orwell's 1984. Watch. And I say watch because I know a lot of people couldn't be really bothered reading. What's my dog trying to do here? Trying to make an escape. That'll be most of us from Australia soon if it keeps going the way it's going. No, you can't go anywhere. You are a political prisoner. Speaking of political prisoners, it was nice to see Monica Schmidt released from a Melbourne Victorian correctional facility because apparently it's okay to lock people up because you disagree with their opinions now in Chairman Dan's state of Victoria. We're just living in crazy times. I'd really like to see everyone get behind guys like Rushkin and Topher Field and support them as much as you can because they do excellent work. I'm just going to back out of the way here so this dog doesn't think it's a really good idea to try and come with me. And he's at the point where he's worked out how to open the gate. So he's actually smarter than most of our politicians, I suspect. They don't seem to be able to open any gates, any states, with any confidence or competence. So my old dog there, Trumpy, he's miles in front of those Muppets. But all seriousness, I'm feeling a bit hollow. It's hard because I'm generally all fury, fire, and brimstone, and kick butt, take names, all that sort of stuff. But it's just sad to watch people who, again, you love and respect. They're so desperate and so scared they'll do almost anything that the government tells them they have to do for this perceived freedom that to be honest, I don't think we're ever going to get it back to the state that it was in. I meant it up. Actually, to me, well, protesters wouldn't be able to behave like that in China or Russia. They'd be shot. Well, our guys were shot, just not with bullets. And I don't want to live in China or fucking Russia. There's a pretty serious reason I don't want to live in those two countries. And I've always been a fairly patriotic, proud Australian, is because we don't live in those fucking countries. So, seriously, as a society with that bad where people think that it's reasonable and acceptable to fucking police and governments to have the authority to shoot free citizens. It's I don't know, gang. Look, I'm almost at a loss for words, but I also feel like it needs to be addressed. I think if you're scared, stay at home. If you want to get a jab, get a jab. The mainstream media this morning started gibbering shit about Australians need their third. Sorry, just moved to a different part of the property. A third jab. So starting to get everyone prepped up for that, because you're going to have your third jab. And mate, it's, you know, like, I mean, I'm going to put a bit more effort into Resolute TV, not me personally, but we're looking at doing more programming with Father Chris and Andrea Takashi and a lot of these really A-grade people, and I love and respect all of them for their opinions. And I know some of them are doing it tougher, not just physically, but emotionally, and it's fucking draining. You know, I've been working my ass off doing my thing with the LDP, and there's an awful lot that goes on with that. And I love those guys, and we've had an influx and a development, some growth, and that's really, really something I'm excited about. But it's also a bit daunting. We don't want to become Liberal Party 2.0. We want to be Liberal Democrats, you know, holding true to our values. So to any of the new members from other parties, and we're getting quite a lot, which I really appreciate, just remember that freedom first. And as far as the party goes, you know, never ever support higher taxes, never ever support a decrease in people's personal liberties. We are the party of freedom. We're the party of choice. And this situation that we're finding ourselves in, watching Melbourne, you know, and I've got a lot of friends in Melbourne. Shout out to all of you, and even the pricks down in Melbourne who think I'm a bastard. How you doing? Hope you're all right, you know. You can't have people under house arrest and think it's going to be all right for this amount of time. If lockdowns work, Dan wouldn't be on his sixth failure of lockdowns. If the vaccine worked the way they said it would, and again, I'll say it again for YouTube's benefit, I'm not giving medical advice, but I am sceptical, because you wouldn't need 3 shots of something that worked. I haven't been for a polio booster. Haven't had to have a measles booster. I haven't needed to do any of that. The reason is because those vaccines seem to work really, really well. And I've got no problem having them. So I'm not an anti-vax guy. I've had my polio, my measles vaccines, all those things. And I certainly don't regret it. I know some people who are anti-vax, and that's fine. That's their choice. This mandate's wrong. People shouldn't be held, you know, a proverbial, well, that's not even proverbial anymore. In Melbourne, they're shooting our citizens. But, you know, guns to our heads to undertake medical procedures. I don't care if it's to undertake a boob job or undertake a fake vaccine or undertake, you know, anything. These governments and bureaucrats have no business telling you what you should and shouldn't do with your own body. That's fucking outrageous. And I'm going to sound like a sarcastic prick, because I usually do, and I usually am. But we want to trust a class of people who can't solve potholes with our medical choices. That's fucking nonsense. Now, I'm more than happy for them to come out truthfully and give the best, most honest, and I always use this phrase. If the government came out tomorrow, not, you know, and did one of their, you know, nightmarish press conferences, and they said the following: ladies and gentlemen of Australia, we're all in this together, which means if something goes wrong with one of our recommendations, financially, emotionally, whatever, we're going to support you, as opposed to indemnifying themselves and the pharmaceutical companies first, which was one of the earliest things Slow-Mo did when he came out with all this shit. He indemnified them, and that automatically means that, no, we're not all in this together. There is an us and there is a you. If they came out and said, look, we're in it together in the capacity I just mentioned, and then they turned around and said, look, the best evidence that we can come up with, the most honest evidence. Now, that rarely do they use the word honest, because we all know they're liars and bullshit artists. But the best evidence we can produce, the most honest thing we can say is, we recommend you do this, this, and this. And then as a free citizen, you go, oh, all right, cool. They reckon we should all stay in our homes for the next month. All right, well, look, okay, I'll try my best to not go out and not interact with people, if that's the most honest. If I trusted that when they spoke, they were telling the truth, I'd probably feel that way. I'd probably go, oh, fuck, well, I'll just try and stay at home as best I can. I don't trust them. I can't imagine why. We can go through pork barreling and rorts and Aldi bags full of cash, but there's plenty of reasons not to trust any of these stooges. And I still don't trust them. I don't think anyone should trust them, certainly not blindly. This is something you need to do your own homework for, and you need to work out what you're comfortable with. I'm not comfortable with any of it at the moment. I'm really uncomfortable with all of it. I'm uncomfortable with people going, well, we're not quite as bad as China or Russia. That's disgusting. I grew up really proud to be an Australian, and I'm a bogan. Fucking oath I am. You know, I'm very working class. I know I run in elections and shit, but I don't do that to be a politician. I do it to be a troublesome bogan who upsets the political class. But here we are. We're in this nonsensical position where governments are enforcing lockdowns. We still don't trust them, but we're doing it. But then we do trust them because we're scared enough. When I say we, it's not really me, but people are scared. They're scared now that the climate change thing started again. It's been all the rage in the media. I think the conclusion we're going to have to come up with is that you know, we're all going to die of something at some stage, somehow. Something's going to get us. Climate change, fucking COVID, getting struck by lightning, bitten by a shark, hit by a car, cancers. You know, I mean, these things are all very real. But do we live in fear, or do we live in a state of courage? Do we go out and do we do the things we want to do? Do we take our kids camping? Do we need, fuck, if my kid wants to go to the park, I'm going to let him go to the park. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. They're banning parks in Queensland and banning protests is very non-democratic. And I don't know, anybody who has seen any of my shit before knows that I'm pretty skeptical about democracy as even being a reasonable form of government. It's just the best that we've got. You know, my team's bigger than your team, so you know, so we're now in power. Seems a bit nonsensical to me as well. But then I'm borderline anarchist. I can't lie. I like the traditional anarchy, not the fucking modern run around and carry on like a dickhead anarchy. I'm more from the view of, you know, we don't need to be ruled over. We're a free people. Most adults are smart enough within reason to make their own decisions and just don't hurt other people. Should be that simple. You know, there was talk the other day about the Melbourne Shrine. These bastards were pissing on the shrine. Well, hold on a minute. Were they in a 7 or 8 hour protest and they were at a shrine surrounded by police officers that probably didn't have a public toilet right next to it, where it was probably not real pragmatic for them to be using a toilet because they're fucking surrounded by Dan Andrews armed militia. It's I can't imagine they went out of the way. And then one of the newspaper articles comes out, and I know this is a bit of a look. I'm just flying off the cuff here. It's, you know, I normally try and be a bit more enthusiastic on the couple of Freedom Fridays I've done, but I'm trying to digest a lot of stuff in my head. They left rubbish and stuff around this shrine. Now, my brother's a veteran. My grandfather was a veteran. My great-grandfathers were veterans. I've got a great respect for our military personnel. I've got fuck all respect for our governments that send our boys off to die. They can kiss my ass, particularly when they don't look after them real well when they get back. But if you're sitting at a shrine and, you know, one mob tried to say that, well, you know, they were defending your freedom to protest. Well, freedom to protest is banned in Victoria at the moment. So that freedom no longer exists. So that's right that they're standing up. Did they leave a mess at the shrine? Probably, because a whole bunch of pricks went in there with fucking government-sponsored guns, taxpayer-funded, sponsored, government-sponsored guns, started shooting them. Now, okay, they can argue rubber bullets. I don't care if it's fucking water pistols and Nerf guns. Our taxpayer-funded anything should not be shooting and inflicting violence on free citizens for the crime of not wanting to be held in prison camps, whether that's a home prison camp, societal prison camp. It's fucking wrong. Dan Andrews needs to be ashamed. All these premiers need to be ashamed. Scott Morrison's the most spineless twit I think I've ever come across. I don't know, him and Malcolm Trumbull aren't much better, but, you know, like, fuck. You're the Prime Minister and leader of this country, and yet you're sitting here twiddling your dick watching all this stuff happen without so much of a whimper. Guys, look, all I can say is I hope everyone stays strong. I hope everybody understands that I don't want Nana to die of COVID. I don't want anybody to die, but I also know that there is a certain inevitability in that. I think the average age of deaths of COVID in Australia, and I'm not sure about worldwide, so don't quote me, and it's not an official quote, but I think the average age is about 85, usually with a preconceived or pre-existing medical condition. So if you're already a fat bastard, there's a fair chance if you get COVID, it's going to affect you a lot harsher than if you're a real fit bastard. I'm not feeling particularly eloquent either at the moment, so my speeches patterns are a bit off. Normally I'm a pretty good talker. But I've just so much rattling around in my head, you know. I've got people who smoke 3 packets of cigarettes a day telling me that if I don't wear a mask, I want them to die and I'm not looking after their health. That's fucking nonsense. You don't look after your own health. I drink too much beer and I have a beer belly. Other than that, I live a pretty healthy life. I don't expect you to take responsibility for my beer belly. That's mine. So when you know, smoking or even people who take regular drugs, and I'd legalise most drugs or decriminalise most drugs, and I'd turn them into a medical situation. But you can't be a fucking drug taker or a risk taker or a surfer or fucking some prick who jumps out of planes, or if you drive a car, you're taking a risk. You can't do any of these things and then turn around and say it's somebody else's responsibility to keep you safe. As I kept saying to my kid, the best OH&S, the best safety method for anything is take responsibility for yourself. Obviously, we've got to teach the kids particularly, but as an adult, cover your own ass. You want to wear a mask, do it. You want to trust the current vaccine rollout, go for it. But your responsibility, your roles, and none of these things should be influenced or coerced or bullied by shonky, half-baked politicians, bureaucrats, and people who, for the entire human history, politicians have been shonky and corrupt. Now, all of a sudden, we want to trust them with our health decisions. I don't know, maybe I am a bit paranoid, or maybe I've just paid an awful lot of attention to history. Anyway, guys, have a really good Friday. We've got the LDP social chat tonight. I'm hosting that as well. Hopefully I'll be in a bit better mood or feeling a bit more vibrant by then. But I just really wanted to rattle some of that stuff off in my head. And sometimes it's good to have a bit of a vent. And look, have a great day. I'm going to go do some jobs. Tune in tonight. Look out for all the new Resolute TV stuff, because the guys have been hard at work, and our little cool network of content creators are sort of looking at formalising a few things, which is nice. But yeah, check out Rushkin. I think he's live now. Rushkin's great. And plenty of people doing live streams. I don't want to be special in this space. I just want to be me. And, you know, I think I'll be, even if we lose this battle, I'll be on the right side of it regardless, win, lose or draw. So have a great day, guys, and I'll talk to you later.